point of great momentum, when you're in the point of everything is rolling like you want it to go, the clients are paying on time, the vendors are supplying you great products, great materials, the employees are working as best as possible, your team is functioning, and you're making a little bit of change, paying yourself decently, you must be prepared for when the 7 years of famine come. Welcome to another episode with us here at Osage Financial. If you're a student, we hope you find the information in this episode valuable to you. If you're a company looking for accountants, click the link below, visit our website, and we'll be in touch with you as soon as possible. Today's episode will be answering 3 key things that you must expect when you're running a business. We will start with the end in mind. So today's episode, start with the end in mind. I've always loved the concept of business. Whether I'm in church, watching how the preacher preaches to the parishioners, to the audience, whether I'm in class, watching how the teacher teaches, that's all a variety of variables of business operations. When I go to the store, I experience how the choice architecture is built, how you move through the different aisles of the store, how you get to the register, how the register is formulated and set up, how the exit points are. Someone thought that entire process through, and I thought, start with the end in mind. On average, it takes about 2 to 3 years for a business to become profitable. If you start a business today, it will take you 2 to 3 years to become profitable. You go through a process of stabilization, momentum, and growth. In the beginning, you're starting out, figuring it out, making sure you have enough clients, making sure your cash flow is positive, making sure you're paying yourself, you're paying your employees. It's a journey, it's a struggle. It doesn't matter whether you're funded by a venture capitalist firm, you're self-funded, you raise capital from family and friends, or you borrowed with debt. It's always a struggle to make sure that you have that cash flow going and growing. And then you hit a point of momentum. Now you have your customers, you have the cash flow coming into the business. You have your vendors supplying you products and materials at the perfect price point. Your margins are looking good. The business is growing. You're flowing in a great momentum state. You're in a flow state. Everything is going as good and as planned as possible. Then you hit a point of growth and stabilization. Your business hits its peak. Everything is running in good, great gears. You think this will never end. Then the economic cycle changes. And then now you must adjust again to make sure that you have the cash flows. You manage your debt. You manage everything in that business to keep you afloat, to keep you as profitable as possible. When you start with the end in mind and you're creating your business, you must think of what is it that I would like to do with this business 5, 10, 15 years from now. Most people never really think about that. However, the ones that succeed the most think it through. Do they want to sell their business in the future? Do they want to pass on their business in the future? Or is this business a limited term venture where they run the business for 20 years, close it out, and move on to the next phase of their life? Starting with the end in mind is very important because it will allow you to think through the structure of the business that you will have as you go through the stages of growth, momentum, acceleration, and then further growth over time. I remember when I was a kid and I would be in church. The pastor, like I mentioned, would be preaching to the parishioners. And one time in 2008, I'm aging myself here, I was a teenager and when in Sabbath school, and we're listening to a lesson of 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. I thought about this story now owning a business. God told Joseph that he must be prepared in Egypt, that there will be 7 years of plenty where there's so much food, bread, success, plenty for the people to eat, to enjoy, to live a beautiful, happy, healthy life. However, after the 7 years of plenty are done, there'll be 7 years of famine across the entire world. Now, because Joseph was prepared, he was able to let the king of Egypt know this is coming into the future. The Pharaoh, no, this is coming into the future. So Egypt was prepared. So when the 7 years of plenty ended and the 7 years of famine began, Egypt was prepared, and Egypt, being the center of the world, was able to help those who were allied with them move through the 7 years of famine. In business, it is the same. We have cycles of growth and cycles of depression, cycles of recession, and then more cycles of growth. If you plan with the end in mind, you should always expect that at any point, the economic cycle might change, and you must be prepared for your business to adjust to that economic cycle. Starting with the end in mind allows you to have that preparation, to have that foresight that this will at some point happen. So when you are in the point of great momentum, when you're in the point of everything is rolling like you want it to go, the clients are paying on time, the vendors are supplying you great products, great materials, the employees are working as best as possible, your team is functioning, and you're making a little bit of change, paying yourself decently. You must be prepared for when the 7 years of famine come. It might not be 7 years for you. It might be 7 weeks. It might be 7 months. However, at that point in time, you must be prepared that you have enough capital, enough cash flow to sustain yourself through that period. Now, one of the things that I learned about 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine, and starting with the end in mind, is when you start a business, you must by all means limit how much debt your business has. You can start your business by funding from family, funding from banks, venture capital funding, different forms of funding. However, if your cash flow does not sustain the servicing of that debt, your ability to grow into the phase of momentum will be very limited because all your cash flow will be tied to servicing the debt. So as you start with the end in mind, as you plan your business out, it's very important that you're not over leveraged on your debt because it will in absolute limit your ability for your business to grow. Starting with the end in mind allows you to plan your exit. Do you want to sell the business? Do you want to pass on the business? Do you want to close the business? Starting with the end in mind again allows you to structure how you want that business to be in the future. One of the greatest lessons I was taught as I spoke to different mentors, as I watched different business podcasts, as I read a lot of different business books, is you must build your business like you are planning to sell that business. A lot of people say, hire for your weaknesses, not your strengths. Your strengths are what got you here. Your strengths are what made you start your business. Your strengths are what made you go from a technician to a business owner, from a truck driver to an owner operator, right? From an accountant to an accounting firm. That's what your strengths got you there. However, as with all things, we all have weaknesses, different sets of weaknesses in the business frame. When you hire for your weaknesses, you hire people that can do marketing better than you, people that can communicate with clients better than you, people that can do accounting better than you. You hire for those weaknesses to allow your business to be at a strong base, at a strong foundation. This is good in the future. In the end, when you decide to sell your business, you're selling a strong company with a strong foundation. I gave an example of when you go into a store. There's choice architecture in that store. The way that you move through the aisles, the way that you pick through the things that you're picking through, the way that when you get to the register, where there's a self-checkout or there's a person at that checkout, the way that it's set up. Someone thought that through that entire cycle. The business owner is not necessarily there to walk you through that entire cycle. However, the way that the business is structured allows you to walk through that entire cycle to the checkpoint and to the exit. When you build your business in that frame, in that architecture, it allows you, 1, to grow, 2, to hit momentum, and then 3, for you to be able to have a sellable business, to have a business that your heirs can be able to easily operate, or at the point of exit, you could sell the business to your managers, or you could exit however you'd like to exit. However, you'd have built yourself a strong base, a strong foundation, a strong business. As with anything, we always believe that a strong, well-structured business allows for great potential upside in profitability and in the ease of operations in your business. start with the end in mind. Remember, when you're starting a small business, you may be lucky and rapidly grow your business, or it may take time, 2 to 3 years, for you to be able to grow, hit momentum, stabilize. If you're prepared, you'll be fine. Preparation is key in anything that you do, especially in the world of business. If you're a student, we hope you found the information in this episode valuable to you. If you're a company looking for accountants, click the link below, visit our website, and we'll be in touch with you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching this episode with us at Osage Financial.